Today, I'm coming to you from Muir Woods National Monument, just north of San Francisco, California. If you drive over the Golden Gate Bridge and out of the city, this is where you end up. Many regard this as one of the most special forests on the planet. Why? Well, it's because of these trees. A California Coastal Redwood, or Sequoia Sempervirens. In Latin, semper means always, and virens means green or flourishing. And these giants live up to this auspicious name, not only for their evergreen leaves, but also for their immense size and longevity. This species includes the tallest trees on Earth, as well as some of the oldest trees. Who doesn't love a good superlative? Yup. In fact, there are some alive today that are over 2,000 years old. To put this into perspective, some of these trees are older than the Roman Empire. They predate Jesus. Holy cow! No pun intended. Man, if trees could talk, what would they say? The world is changing. Alright, so we know about their age. They could be old as heck. What about their size? Wow. Their height can exceed 380 feet. That is longer than a football field. And it can be over 20 feet in diameter at the base. You would need 7 or 8 people to collectively wrap your arms around it. With all that in mind, how do these trees work? I mean, how do they get to live so long? How do they get to be so tall? I have questions, and I need answers. Well, let's talk a little bit about the ecology of these trees. Due to their 12-inch thick bark and lack of flammable pitch or resin, these trees are naturally fire resistant. They also possess chemical compounds in the wood called tannins that fend off insects and diseases. One of the most interesting things about these trees is this. How deep would you guess their roots are? Go on, pick a number. I'll wait. Got an answer yet? Well, you're almost certainly wrong. They're only 10 to 13 feet deep vertically. That's it. With how tall these trees are, how does that make any sense? That's about a 35th of their height. Surely they would topple over. Well, what they lack in vertical, they more than make up for in horizontal, kinda like me. Their roots can spread outward anywhere from 60 to 80 feet, intertwining with the roots of other redwoods in a grove for stability. It's like a giant underground superweb of roots. I wish I could see that. How about another super fun fact? For this one, we need to go way up into the canopy. And because I don't have my green screen with me, you're gonna get this instead. Up here, organic matter can get caught in the branches of these trees. Over time, it will decompose and turn into soil. I bet you can see where this is going. From this soil can sprout fern mats, shrubs, and even small trees in a veritable sky garden, hundreds of feet above the ground. That is so cool! But it isn't just plants. Animals like tree voles, bats, and salamanders can live up in the redwood forest canopy. It's like that city in Star Wars, way up in the clouds. Cloud City? Yeah, that's it. Super clever name. What about water? Well, believe it or not, water can make it all the way up through the tree's xylem, effectively their water pipelines. Not only this though, but the redwoods also absorb water from fog at all levels of the canopy through their stomata. In the dry summer months, fog accounts for nearly 40% of their water uptake. Wow. Now we understand their life, but now I'm curious, what about their birth? How are baby trees created? These trees are monoecious, meaning that male and female parts grow on the same tree. Male cones release pollen in late winter and early spring, and female cones drop seeds in the late fall. However, most do not germinate, and redwoods primarily reproduce asexually. The twists and lumps at the base of the tree can sprout new growth if the tree is damaged. This new growth nourishes and takes advantage of the tree's existing root system, and can eventually develop its own root system. If you ever get the chance to see these trees for yourself, this is a common sight. Saplings growing on or directly adjacent to a mature tree. And this fact is responsible for one of the most famous and interesting phenomena of these trees, fairy rings. This always makes me think of those fairy ring teleportation things from RuneScape. Anyone RuneScape fans in the audience? No? No? A fairy ring is a nearly perfect circle of redwood trees. This is simply caused by the generation of sprouts from the base of an old, fallen redwood or its stump. But what causes a redwood tree to fall? How do you topple one of these immense giants? Well, wind is the most common natural cause. Unfortunately, we are by far the most common cause of death to a redwood tree. Historically, old-growth redwood forests covered about 2 million acres in California. God, I bet that was a sight to behold. When the 1848 California gold rush began and population was booming, those same qualities that make redwoods so special and resilient, their unique, beautiful wood and natural resistance to fire and decay, made them extremely valuable timber. Extensive logging operations of redwoods were undertaken to build San Francisco and other surrounding cities. A mere 4% of the original old-growth forest remains today, a figure that is as staggering as it is depressing. 4%! And most of this is in protected lands like national and state parks. They barely exist in the true wild today. And that's where we're at now. But that makes me think, where are we going from here? Anybody who has seen these trees falls in love. John Muir, the famous author, naturalist, and conservationist who is the namesake for these woods, is no exception. I myself love these trees a lot. So, in a changing world, where is this going? What does the future of this species look like? Our planet is transforming. The climate is rapidly changing, and with this comes changes to the habitat ranges of species, the ways in which they grow and develop, and more. In their current range, redwoods are encountering warmer temperatures, leading to less fog and a reduction in snowmelt, both critical sources of water for these trees. Scientists are working hard to understand how climate change will impact these trees. For one thing, it's unclear whether or not precipitation will increase or decrease. Even if it increases, an increased temperature also means increased evaporation, probably offsetting any gains caused by this. Of course, on top of this, there are also the usual suspects, with increases in wildfires and flooding, as well as shifting relationships with pests and pathogens. And these are all likely to cause a lot of damages and challenges for these trees moving into the future. With such a narrow and specific range, the future of these trees in a changing world is uncertain. What can we do about it? Well, as always, there are the common little things. Drive less, consider swapping your gasoline-powered car for an electric vehicle, participate in community cleanups and other environmental events, eat less meat, and more. Additionally, if you have a few extra bucks to utilize, consider donating to organizations like Save the Redwoods League, a nonprofit organization that has been protecting these trees for over 100 years, since 1918. Also, as always, you can find more information about all of this in the description, as well as a lot of links where you can go and learn more information about this for yourself and explore a bit. There's also a link there to Save the Redwood League's donation page, in case you are so inclined to do so. I'm not sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form, but they just seem like an organization that's doing a lot of good, and if you're looking for a more tangible way to have an impact and positively help these trees, that's a great way to do so. Now, back over to me in California to bring things home. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed getting to see this beautiful place. I had a lot of fun being here. These trees are super, super cool. Anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your week. I hope to see you next time, and take care.